Hey everyone, welcome to the new session Indian Top 10 Food Analysis. But before start the session, let me introduce that Great Learning has came up with the idea of Great Learning Academy where you will get almost 80 plus free courses, and also after complete your course you can claim your certificate. So before start the session, let me go through the let you went through the Great Learning Academy. So basically, if you just write Great Learning Academy in the Google, you will get the first link over there. Just click on the link, right, and you will just land to the page of Great Learning Academy. And here you will get lots of courses who are like training technologies right now, right? Data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, IT and software. There are lots of things you will get over there. And also we are doing some free live courses for data analysts, for software development engineers, right? So you can go through that as well, right? And after complete your course, you can the main catch point is you will get your certificate, and you will get lots of learning material that is also for free. So this is a full free courses you will get, and don't wait and start learning right away and skill up yourself, right? So this is pretty much about Great Learning Academy. And let me just go through let me just show you what are the things we are going to cover today's session. But guys, if you don't know Python, then also it's totally fine, you will learn from here, and there is no age to learn new things, right? So yeah, so keep tuned for that. We are going to do a complete project using Python, right? So let's have a look at the what are the things we are going to cover in this particular session. Before that, please let me know I am audible or not. So please give me the confirmation on that if I am audible, then we will start today's session, right? So give me a quick confirmation on that, guys. I am audible or not? If I am audible, then please give me the confirmation on that. Right. Okay, I can see Shishir is saying I am audible. Okay, right. So I can see I am audible. Okay, so let's have a look at what are the things we are going to cover in this particular session. So basically, many of you may be new to this particular knowledge that what is data science. We heard this term lots of times, but we really don't know what is data science. And yeah, we will talk about that a little bit, a quick heads up on that, because today we are going to do a big project that is top 10 food analysis, right? So in this case it will take a few more time, so we will give you a heads up on that. After that we will see the life cycle of data science, what are the things you need to do, and from there we will just go and just jump into the project that we will just install Python in your local system, and then we will see some of the important statistics terms in data science, and lastly we will do this demo EDA on top 10 Indian food items, right? So yeah, this is full agenda we have, this is the whole plan. So let's start with the plan and let's see how it goes. I think it will actually you will learn lots of things from this session, and please do let us know after the session what you feel about it in the comment chat, obviously, right? So let's start with why do we need data science. So guys, how many of you have idea about data science? How many of you actually heard this term data science, or get the exposure to work with data science? Any idea about data science? If you guys just let me know, I can understand that how many of you have idea about data science, and how many actually of you get chance to work with data science things. So yeah, it's I just want to understand that, right? So give me quick reply on that. In that time, let me just okay, Aditya is saying no idea. That's not the problem, Aditya. If you don't have idea, then this session will give you a good idea about that. Hey Kashyap, I can see this is I actually can remember that Kashyap is actually watch all the session. That's really nice, Kashyap. I hope you learn few things from these sessions. Aditya is saying I'm blank. That's totally fine. If you're blank, that's not the problem. Okay. Someone is saying that working as a business analyst. So I think you have an idea about data science, a little bit about that. Okay. Okay, Vaishnavi is saying that has an idea but not work with on it. Okay, that's not a problem. Cool, then start. So let's have a look at what is why do we need data science. So let me give you a quick heads up on that. As I said, I'm not going to spend a lot time on this. So Why do we need it? So the main reason of needing data science concepts, let me just give you a scenario on that. Because in the past, what we used to do, we used to actually quite used to go to the offline stores and go and buy our stuffs, right? And also ordering food is just, we just go to the restaurant and we used to go for for the lunch and dinner. We do that right now as well. But now, after a long hectic day, or being you a student or a professional, you will feel like, hey, I know in my cozy corner, maybe I can sit and I can have a good food. That time, this new applications like Swiggy, Zomato, they actually help us to do that, right? So in this case, whenever you are going to order your food, or ordering your cab all the time, okay, so all the time, what we do actually, so we use our mobile phones, we use and we give data to those companies. So maybe you will think of what data we are giving those companies, right? So basically, whatever the food you are trying, you love to have, or you just want to try, and or wherever you are going somewhere by booking your cab, these are the nothing but the data for those companies. And those companies actually try to store those data. Why? Because they try to understand what is their business scenario, what are the place people loves to go, or what are the foods people love to have, right? So these are the data you are giving, and they are trying to store all the data. So you can think that what are the population we have. So according to the population, every second they are getting some new data. From those new data, if they want to store, is it possible for a human being to do that? That's not possible, right? They have to go for some programming or some other way around to store those data. Yes, that time those data is in a very big huge number, right? But they are in a very messy way. So when they are in a very messy way, what's happening, this data are not in a condition to use. So use those data, they are doing all these things to use those data to understand those data, to understand their business. So in this case, what they are doing, they are going to use data science. So this is how data science comes into the picture, because the traditional tools we used to use for when we have the data in a structured manner, they are actually failing, because this data are not in at all structured manner. They are semi-structured or unstructured, right? So you can understand there are lots of messy things can happen, lots of the unwanted data will be there. So if you try to analyze those data, that's not gonna work out, right? So in this case, this data science tools, data science actually nothing but the umbrella where we have lots of or plenty of tools where we can actually use them to use those data. So those data are going to, when actually we clear those data, we actually make those data pricey, right? We all know this now, data becomes the main oil, right? So if we just compare with the gold and the data, yes, data is also that much important to the companies right these days, right? So in this case, when they actually try to make those messy data to a golden data, basically, if we can say, that time they used to use data science technique. And this data science basically help us to manage those data. So this is why we need data science. Any doubt, guys? And I can see some of you are saying I'm from commerce background. Aditya is saying I'm from commerce background. Ashok is saying I also have idea in data analytics. That's really nice, Ashok. Yes, Harsh, we just talked about why do we need data science. Now we are just going to talk about what is data science. So we have a mystery right now that why do we need data science? But I understand why do we need data science, but what is data science? It's a normal method, it's a programming language, or what it is? So data science is nothing but it's a process to get some meaningful information from the massive amount of data. Right, I will answer your questions, guys, because I just want to cover the introductory part as soon as possible, and then I will answer your question and we will jump into the project. Will that work for you guys? Shivi Rajendran, yes, I will answer your question on that, right? Okay, so basically data science is the process to get some meaningful information from the massive amount of data that we were talking about. In simple terms, read and study the data to get some proper intuitive insights. That's nothing but to try to understand their business in a more concise way, try to understand what's happening, right? So data is not about only information. Yeah, data gives you information, plus they will give you more insights about what's happening like beside you. right? So this is the main thing you have to understand. So when your data is in a actually concise way, they are in like you can use this, right? So that time your data is nothing less than gold, right? So yeah, data science is a mixture of various data algorithms. Like we have lots of tools to use the data science to store your data. And we know, I think you guys also know about machine learning, deep learning, big data, right? These all are combinations of whole artificial intelligence, right? They are nothing but the umbrella and giving you lots of features to handle those data, to process those data, to make a meaning out of it, right? And we also have machine learning, deep learning concepts, as we already said, and it's also help us to discover hidden patterns from the raw and unstructured data. For what is hidden pattern actually I am referring to, I will say that with the time. Let's begin with what is data science. That I think you guys understand what is data science, right? So now what we are going to do, we are going to talk about the life cycles of data science. So it's just like few more seconds. I just want to talk about that. So it's just, I'm going to take a scenario and I'm just going to explain all the things, right? So suppose you are a data scientist, right? So the name itself, it's very heavy, right? So as a data scientist, you can understand there are lots of responsibility comes into your mind. So first you have to understand the business problem. So maybe you are the data scientist and the company are trying to understand as a data scientist how you are going to work with, right? So in this case, they will give you a scenario. They will say, hey, I want to focus my business, can you please help me out with that? I will give you the data, right? So when they said you have to focus the business, you have to read their data, you have to understand their data. But before reading their data, you have to collect the data. You will get some data from the company, obviously, but if you have more variation of data, you will give a proper result on that, right? So that time we try to use some repositories where we actually can download the data. Those data are obviously the messy data, but trust me, you actually can start with those data, because anyway you are going to clean those data. So the next part comes in data cleaning. It takes few times, it's not few times, the most of the times goes into data cleaning. After that it goes for exploratory data analysis. After you clean your data, basically you can say, hey, I have cleaned my data, now my data, you said it's just like gold, so how can I use them? So that time you have to use some statistical concepts. So few pillar you need to have being a data scientist. So it's just like a prerequisites. You need to learn about maths, a little bit of linear algebra. You need to learn about basics of statistics and the one programming language. That's all you need to start with, right? So after you have done the exploratory data analysis, which is nothing but the statistical concepts, which will actually help you to describe your data in a more good way, right? When your data is actually explained, how your data, what is the data, what are the columns, what are the things you need to actually taken care of to get the business insights, right? That time what you need to do, you have to go for using machine learning algorithms. So what is machine learning? So when your data is ready, you can make a model out of it that will work as a human. So it's basically, I don't know how many of you actually have the idea about machine learning. So though in this session we are not going to cover this, but we do have lots of new courses on machine learning. You can check them out. It's nothing but it's very interesting, and you can replace your work with the model itself. Basically your machine will work for you and you will do nothing, right? So yeah, we have lots of types of machine learning algorithm. So when you know the data, you can choose algorithm from there and you can make your model. When your model is ready, your model will do the forecasting for you. What are the forecasting you need to do for your company? After you have done this, you have to train your model. After you train your model, you will put the new data to your model, as you don't need to write the code for the second time. After you see with the new data, your model is working really fine. That time you can deploy your model. Deploying your model is nothing but for the time being you can understand the other people also can use your model, right? So in this case, this is the whole life cycle of data science, from starting from understanding the business problem to deploy your model, right? So we have talked about a little bit about life cycle of data science. Also we have talked about the what is data science, why do we need data science. So these things are covered. right? So I will answer your questions, guys, and then we will see some of the important statistics term, and we will jump into the project because I really don't want to waste time on this. Okay. So Harsh, I think you got your answer that what is data science. I have explained that how to apply some of the data science concepts on real world cricket data. Okay, so for real world cricket data, you can go for doing the prediction who is going to win, or who will be the man of the match. These things you can do. We do have lots of session. We did lots of session on IPL. You can check them out. Rajendran. Deepak is saying I'm from power industry, so how can I explore my knowledge in this since not using data science in current profile? So power industry, I really don't have a lot idea about that, Deepak. That's very frankly speaking. If you can give me a quick introduction to what actually industry you are in, that I'm really sorry, I really don't have idea about that. So I can maybe help you on that. Hi, Meet Patel. How to start with DS project? We have lots of DS project in Great Learning Academy. You can check them out. I think you will get an idea, Pile. Okay. Yes, Rajendra, I think I give the use cases, right? That how this company is going to work, what are the objectives you are going to have, right? I think you got your answer. Commerce without math students are able to do this. Aditya, the commerce students, I think they also need to know this linear algebra things. It's a very basic one, right? We learned in 10 and 12. So I think you also can start with this. It's not a very tough thing to learn with, right? Okay. Any one type of machine learning, there are 3 types of machine learning is there: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning, Harsh. Okay, what is mean by hypothesis generation where it comes to design life cycle? Hypothesis generation where, okay, we will talk about that, Rohit. Okay, Deepak, I got it. Power generation is coal-based power station. I maybe need to think about it. Please comment us, and if I can get any idea, I will obviously keep you updated on the comment. So please comment on this in the session after this. Maybe I will help you out on that. Right. Cool. I have given lots of answers. So now let's go back to the presentation and let's have a look at the few important statistical terms who has no idea about statistics. Some of you are saying you are from commerce background, but yeah, we can start up with basics of statistics. So first let's have a look at what is statistics. It's a quick heads up again, guys. Statistics is a part of integrated applied mathematics, right? So basically statistics, why we use statistics to understand our data in a more concise way. The few points you have to remember, right? So first, statistics are used to understand your data in a more concise way. Second, statistics is a part of integrated applied mathematics. So it is also a part of integrated applied mathematics, right? It helps to collect data and analyze them properly, right? With the help of the statistics, we can read the data, organize them in an order to get the hidden information out of it. So when we are talking about the hidden information, what actually that stands for, right? So hidden information, suppose you have a data set, right? So as we are doing lots of online transactions, so we actually face there are lots of fraud transaction is also happening, right? We are also the victim of that. So in this case, suppose you try to make a model which will actually can predict this particular data is, whenever the data is going to be the part of this the part of this system, the system will analyze and can say, hey, this can be a fraud transaction, can you please stop it right away? Okay, so maybe you can save your money, the fraud transaction will be less. In that case, we have to understand our data. So in this time, there are few hidden patterns, right? How your model is going to say this transaction can be a fraud transaction. That time we have to write. Okay, so basically that time we have to do what? We have to give some hidden pattern. So these hidden patterns are nothing but coming from the data set itself. Maybe the transaction is going to happen is a very, huge number. So if they can actually go for finding out this person never had done more than 1 lakh rupees transaction, now suddenly this person trying to do a 50 lakhs transaction, there is a but, and that time bank will call this person and try to understand, is it you who is trying to do this transaction? If the person will give you the heads up like, yeah, I am trying to do that, maybe that time this will be approved. But when this particular thing went to bank and bank try to understand, that signal is given by your model. Your model is going to say, hey, this person is going to do a huge number of huge amount transaction, and can you please check it is actually done by this particular person or someone else. So this is how this statistical terms, and this is how the statistics basically help model to understand this hidden pattern, right? So I hope you understand what is this statistics stands for. Okay, now if we have a look at what is population. So the population name itself, you can understand population is nothing but the whole population, the whole world population we have. So your whole data set will be referred as the population. So maybe you are having a data set for credit card fraud analysis, or you are having a data set for trying to predict diabetes, right? So the whole data set will be referred as population. Now when we talk about population, there are few things comes into the mind, that is known as parameter. So what is parameter? So parameter is nothing but which is actually refer the characteristics of your data set. So you have data set and you have few parameters. These parameters are nothing but going to help you, right? So these parameters are going to help you the describing your data set. When you try to describe your data set, you need to use those parameters. So this is what parameter stands for. So parameters are like average or percentage, which helps to describe the entire population. So all of the time we are not able to use the whole population. We will talk about that as well. So that time maybe we will take a part of it and we will use this parameter to describe our whole data set. Now you will ask me, how is it even possible? Maybe we will take an average of the diabetic patients, right? So you have a data set where you have a combination of diabetic patient and non-diabetic patient, and then you will take an average. From there you can say this is the average age can be can be considered as the being diabetic, right? So this is how this parameters concepts help us to start with and to describe our data set. Now if we talk about sample, what is sample? So as we have said, a whole total population, working with a whole total population, it's basically taking a lots of computational power and time as well. But instead of working with the whole population, if we just work with the few parts of the population, maybe we will take few states which are similar and we will try to analyze the people, like what people love to have as a as a food, right? So maybe if we try to understand that what is the food this particular state people, they have few similarities, what are the things they love to have, right? So basically we actually do the analysis with the less data but with the different types of states. So this state are basically referred as the sample, which is the part of population and one part of which is the part of population itself, right? Okay, so this is known as sample, right? So now I hope you understand that what is population, what is statistics, what is sample, and what is parameter, right? So these are the very basic terms you need to know when we start with data science. Any doubt till so far, guys? So I am really sorry, guys. I am very bad in Hindi, and this session is going to be in English, but we do have lots of session in Hindi. You can check them out, right? Babaji official, right? Okay, right. So any other doubts? Which statistics topic is useful for ML? So Ravi, these are the statistics topics you need to know. I mean, this is not the topics, this is a few terms you need to know when we start with data science. But with time, when we start working with data science, you will learn lots of things. But yeah, these are the basic things you need to have an idea about. So OTN, we don't have any project on wireless cellular communication. I'm really sorry for that. Harshit, this is a nice idea. Harshit, why don't you guys put this idea on the comment, for that we can look into it, and we can just keep working on it, and we can come up with a new session on these ideas. I think that will be helpful for you as well. Not for you, I mean all the learners we have. We are really glad that you guys also giving us the new ideas. Please put on this comment section and we will try to work on that. How to recognize hidden pattern? I just gave the idea, Rosen. I think you got it. How should be the path to learn data science? When to learn ML, statistics, and Python in what order? So for if you ask me, Rohit, then I can say you have to start with Python, then you have to go for ML. In between, you need to start, like you need to learn statistics, basic statistics things, and and these are the past part of data science again. And there are lots of data management tools, like you can learn about big data. You can learn about Power BI. You can learn about Tableau, right? So these are the basically learn planning path. Why don't you go and try out our great learning new courses? They are really helpful to like start with this particular journey, right? Thank you, Akshay. Can you explain sample again? So Harsh, sample is nothing but the part of population. One part of population is known as sample. KP, okay, what's the most preferred language for programming in the industry? So for preferred language, there is no particularly preferred language for which domain you want to go for. Based on that, you have to find which language is most trending, and you need to learn it, and you can go for applying the jobs, right? So guys, any doubt till so far? If you have any doubt, please let me know. You are most welcome, Harsh. Any doubt till so far for what is population? As Harsh asked me what is sample, if I can explain again. So why I am asking, because these are the very basic parts, and whenever we are trying to do any project, these are the basic terms you have to be clear from your side, right? So now we will talk about mean. I hope you Shuva is asking difference between sample and parameter. The main difference between sample and parameters are used to describe the data set, right? And sample we use because we cannot work with the whole population. So we try to take few sample from the data set and try to analyze them, right? So this is the main difference between these two terms. Now we will talk about what is mean. So mean term referred as average value of the whole population. As we talked about that, we try to understand the age of being diabetic. In that time, we try to take the mean of that particular column, that what is the age in that time. Mean, this term referred as the average of the value of the whole population, right? Okay. Hi Harshit. Okay, hi Harshit Varma. So now we will talk about what is median. So median is the middle value of the data where your data is sorted in the manner, right? And what is mode? Mode stand for the most occurring element in the data set, right? So this is pretty much about what is mean, median, and mode. Hey Mayank, these questions I cannot answer. You guys need to answer for that. Why don't you guys answer for that? Vaishnavi is asking, please show your parameter slide. So Vaishnavi, for all the slides you will get in Great Learning Academy, right? So in this case, you just need to go and check the Great Learning Academy. I have shown already. There you will start with all the data sets we have, whatever the code file you are going to use, everything you will get in Great Learning, right? Okay, so in this case I am not going to go back to parameters one, parameter slide. You will get all the slide as well, guys, in the material, and the code, dataset, everything. Our moderator is sending the link. Please go through the link and you will get everything over there, right? Hey everyone, everyone is saying hi. I cannot say particularly hi to everyone. Hey everyone, I think you guys are liking the session. Please, if you like it, then please do like the session. We actually get motivated for that, right? Okay, Rahit is saying to feel the missing value of dataset, what is the more convenient, mean, mode, or median? So in this case, mean is the most least affected by the outliers. So Rohit, I will talk about that later. So many of you doesn't have idea about that, so I will talk about in the demo itself, right? So now we will have a look at the type of analysis we have in statistics. We use descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So what is descriptive statistics? It's basically helps to describe the data in a mathematical or a graphical way. So the way you actually try to describe your data, these are also part of two types. One is descriptive, one is inferential. So when you try to describe your data in a mathematical or a graphical way, that time it is known as descriptive statistics. When you try to show your data in a split your data into samples and applies probability to arrive the conclusion, that time it is known as inferential statistics, right? So this is the main two types of statistics, types of analysis we have in statistics. Now we will talk about a little bit about outliers. What is outliers? Outliers in the data sets are referred as unusual value. So wait, let me just give you again a scenario where we can see what is outlier. So outliers are nothing but basically when you have a data set, again the credit card fraud analysis, right? So maybe outlier can be considered as the error in the data set, because if you have, suppose you have a age group, right, from 20 to 50, not 50, 20 to 35, and suddenly you got a data, the age of that person is 90. Maybe that data is inserted wrongly, or this is the outlier or the anomalies, right? So for now being, you can understand outliers are data set in the dataset are the errors, right? So outliers are basically experimental errors in the data, and some outliers are good for dataset to detect anomaly, like when we talk about detecting fraud transaction, right? So obviously the data you can see when we talk about the transaction, right? So basically we have a transaction between 1000 to 10 lakhs. Suddenly you get a transaction of 50-60,000, not 50-60,000, 50-60 lakhs, right? That time you can say, hey, this is the anomaly, right? This is something error happening, or this is something different thing happening. That's why outliers can be considered in a two way. One, it's errors. Second, it's an anomaly, right? And it affects the mean and the standard deviation. Obviously, if you just think of, if you want to take an average of the age and suddenly you got an age of 90, it's whole calculation for your average will be changed, right? So this is what these anomalies that affect the mean and the standard deviation of the data, and most of the machine learning techniques does not perform good with outliers, right? So this is pretty much about what is outlier. Shashank is asking how to make resume for data analysis job as a fresher. So what are the topics you know? What are the project you have worked on? Please make those on bold and try to highlight those in your resume. So anyway, if you give a long resume, the hiring managers or the hiring company try to understand what are the tools you know, what are the project you have worked on. So these are the things you can highlight, and I think this is the way to make the resume, to make your resume attractive as well. Shashank, I hope you got the answer. So any doubt till so far, guys, about outlier analysis, about what is statistics, because I need to wrap up this particular thing within 2-3 minutes. So if you have any doubt, please quickly just let me know in the live chat. So now we will talk about the interquartile range. What is interquartile range? So basically when we try to divide our data set into quartiles to measure the variability, so basically we try to understand what is the distribution of our data. What is the variability we have in our data, right? What is the spread of our data set? That time we try to use interquartile range, in short, which is known as IQR. So basically what IQR does, it splits the data into 4 equal parts in the sorted manner. Right, so Q1, Q2, Q3 are called as first, second and third quartiles, right? So Q1 is basically 25th percentile of the data set, Q2 is 50th percentile of the data set, and Q3 is the 57th percentile of the data set, right? And if you want to calculate the IQR, the interquartile range, you have to use Q3, the 75th percentile of the data set, minus 25th percentile of the data set. So this is how we try to understand our data variability and data description as well, right? So this is the basic terms of IQR. We uses IQR with box plot. So basically we use box plot, Rohit, for to understand the outliers. Shashank, in the later in the session maybe I can help you out on that, right? So now there is a concept called upper and lower limits in interquartile range. So lower and upper limit is nothing but basically the range you want to give for your data points should lie, right? For the time being, you can understand maybe to handle the outlier in your data set, we use to clip our data. We just try to clip our data to handle those outliers. Some of the cases, these outliers are nothing but the errors. So if you have errors, how to handle them? To handle them, we use IQR technique, right? To clip our data. Basically, we say, hey, data, you are not ready to go beyond this limits. So this is the upper and lower limits for the data to handle those outliers. I hope you got the answer, Rohit. Right, so yeah, this is these are the terms you don't need to know right now. So yeah, now we will do the project on EDA for top 10 Indian food analysis, right? So before start with that, I just want to show you the data set. So we have used this data set from Kaggle itself. So in this data set we have few things, right? So why we are talking about the data set? So maybe now we are not going to use any machine learning technique, but in the dataset itself, you can see there is a continuous type dataset. We have discrete type dataset, right? So when we have continuous type dataset, that time what is the problem? Not the problem. That time we need to use different type of machine learning algorithm. When we have a discrete type, discrete type dataset, we need to use different type of algorithm for machine learning. So you have to understand those things. Thanks, Kashyap. I think I have seen you in the last few session as well. I hope you are actually getting benefited from these sessions. Please do let us know. We will love to learn about that. We will actually love to heard about that. How can we set the upper and lower limit? So basically we clip the data for that. There is a function in Python called dot clip, right? Where you can actually give the upper and lower limit. Rohit, to understand the data, so many of you are asking me where to get the data set. So yeah, let me just show you once more quickly. You can see there is a Great Learning Academy I have written in the Google. If you just click on the first link over here, what you will get, you will actually land to the page itself. And here if you go down, you can see there is the upcoming live session, and here is the session name Indian Cuisine Analysis. If you just register for this, you will get all the details, all the materials for the for the session. We are using the slides, the data set and the code file, right? I think you got your answer, Rohit. Right, now let me just show you what is the data set all about. We have the data set called Indian 101, the dataset name, which is taken from Kaggle. It's an open source dataset. Here we have the name of the food, that balushahi. Ingredients we have maida flavor yogurt. Diet, that's what type of the data, what type of food it is. It's a vegetarian food, it's a non-vegetarian food. And then we have preparation time, how much time it will take to get prepared. After that we have cook time, right? What is the total time of cook time, right? So this is the cook time. And then we have the flavor, it's sweet or sour or spicy, right? These are the thing we have. Now we have the course. Course is nothing but the type of the food. It's a dessert or it's a main course. What is it? Then state, from where it's belonging. It's from West Bengal, right? So it's a Bengal food, that balushahi, okay? And the region is East. So these are the things we have in our data set. Now you will ask me why you are actually showing me the whole raw data, because before start with any data set, you have to have idea about your raw data. If you don't have your raw data, then you cannot understand your, you cannot understand this whole total project, right? And yeah, we do lots of new projects, guys. This is something, the project we are doing right now, top 10 food analysis. But trust me, we are going to come up with a new session as well, that is predicting student grade, right? So keep just please subscribe Great Learning. you will get the notified with this new sessions as well, right? So Akula is asking that why -1 is there. It's a good question, Akula. I will answer these questions, right? So Rohit, we are not going to use any machine learning concepts today. We are going to do our exploratory data analysis, so understanding our data in a more concise way, right? So let's go to the code itself. So here what we are going to do. So here we are going to use Google Colab. How many of you have idea about Google Colab? If you can give me a quick heads up on that how many of you actually know how to use Google Colab? Okay, someone is asking, Mohit is asking, suppose if you have insufficient data, then how can we proceed? What insufficient data you are talking about? The sorry. So the data set will be very less in number, or what type of insufficient data you are asking about? If you can give me a quick understanding on that. Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now we are going to see that what is the data set all about. So basically in this data set consists about 255 Indian dishes, right? I am very foodie, guys, so yeah, I love to see this this dishes and trying new foods. So yeah, so you can see. So if you don't know about, Acha, Hitesh is saying I don't know, Alankriti is saying I don't know. Okay, so if you don't know about Google Colab, let me just walk you through on that. Just write Google Colab, right? So this Google Colab is given by Google for AI researchers, and basically it's help you with lots of features. It has like for now time being you don't need to go for doing lots of things, but yeah, this basically going to help you with lots of features if you work with a very high computational power artificial intelligence project, right? So in this case you can see this is something written as new notebook. You just need to click over there, your notebook will be ready. You don't need to install Python, you don't need to install any integrated development environment which is known as IDE, right? You can directly start up with the project itself, right? So this is pretty much about Google Colab. So I have done my notebook over here. You can, if you want to put some text, you can, right? So the data set we can see we have 255 Indian dishes and 9 columns associated with each of them. So the 9 columns are name of the dish we have, then main ingredients used to make those dish, then we have diet. Diet is nothing but you are a vegetarian, that the if you are a vegetarian, you go for vegetarian foods. If you are non-vegetarian, you go for the non-vegetarian food. So in this case, we actually can see this sweets are nothing but the vegetarian, right? Yes, Mohit, we can take assumptions. Right, so you can see the preparation time, the total preparation time to make that particular dish made. Then cooking time, what is the cooking time? Then flavor profile. Flavor profile includes whether the dish is spicy, sweet or bitter or what. Then we have course. Course of meal, it's a starter, it's a main course or it's a dessert, right? And then from which states it's belong to, who is like where this dish originated. Then we have the region where the states belongs. Right, these are the 9 columns we have in our data set. What do we do with data actually in EDA? We try to understand that maybe top 10 dishes which takes the minimal time to get prepared, or top 10 dishes which takes the highest time to get prepared, or what are the dishes we have in spicy, what are the most used dishes we have in dessert, right? So these are the things we are going to do, Rohit. Okay, so now what libraries we are going to use? We are going to use pandas, Numpy. So pandas we use for data manipulation. We know this pandas actually used for data manipulation tool, right? So in this case we are going to use pandas library, we are going to use Numpy, we are going to use Plotly. So Plotly is basically used for data visualization, and we also use the Matplotlib. This is also used for what? This is used for basically again data visualization, right? So now after I did that, I just need to read our data. So you can see, if you want to read your data and if you want to upload your data in Google Colab, just click on this particular sign, right? Click on this particular sign. After that, there is a upload option you will get, right? Let me make it little big. This is the upload option you will get. click on the upload option and it will directly go to your local system, and wherever you have the .csv file, you can directly click on there and just click on open. It will be automatically redirected or automatically uploaded to Google Colab. After that, if you want to see the path option, for that, in the 3 dots, if you click, you can see the copy path option. So now you will ask me, why do we need it? So when we are going to use this .read CSV function to read our data set and to store our data into a variable, that time you have to go for giving the path for your data set. So in this case, you can see we use pd.read CSV to read our data set, that is from pandas. Now if we just write data, right? So this data is nothing but your data frame, and in the data frame you can see your data is already loaded. You have the name, ingredients, diet, preparation time, cook time, flavor profile, course, and all those things you have. Right now, if you just want to see, hey, I don't want to see all the data, I just want to see the first 5 rows of our data. How to do that? You just need to write data.head. So data.head is basically used for what? Data.head basically used to understand or to have first 5 rows of your data set. So if you just write data.head, you will get first 5 rows. You can see from 0 to 4, the first 5 row you get. Actually, you can see these are the first 5 rows. Now, if you want to check, I have said that we have 9 columns. But if you say I want to see the 9 column, what are the columns we have in our data set? In this case, yes, Rohit, we have to copy and paste the path as it is, right? So some data dot columns. So data dot columns function is used basically to see what are the columns we have in our data set. Now, if you want to see the information about your data, what is information? What is the data type for your particular all the columns? Is there any null value? Some of you are asking about what is -1. I will answer that as well. So what is the total null value you have? Null value is nothing but the missing value you have. So in this case, we use a function called .info function. So when we use this data.info function, you can see for the name column, you get particularly no null count. So the number of, none null count. So basically you don't have any null value, right? So now if we want to check this in a more precise way, we need to use one more function which is known as .isNull. So basically when we try to write data.isNull.any. So if I just write data.isNull, this is basically going to each and every column and rows and try to find is that value is a null value or it's there some value is there. So if you just write it, you will get a boolean return from this particular function for each and every rows and columns. But I don't want that. I want to see for each and every column, right? Not for each and every row. I just want to see for name, ingredients, dish, and preparation time. Do I have any null values? So in this case, we are going to use .any function, right? So in this case, when we try to understand is there any null value, so in this case, you can see we have false, false, false and true for region. So there is null value in region. For other cases, according to the function, they are saying there is no null value. But trust me, we do have null values. I will show you on that. And if you want to check, .any is basically going to give you boolean result. And if you want to see what is the total number of null value you have, particularly for all the column, you have to use .sum function. Right? So for the region, you can say only one value you have, that is null value. Right? Now, what I have, now if you just go back to the data set, you can see we have -1. So these -1s are nothing but your null values. But when you use .isNull function, it's not going to show you because there is a value. It's going to check is there any value or not. There is a value. Yes, so that's why we have to take care of those things as well. So in this case, what I have done, I said if I have -1 in my data set, please replace with np.nan. Alright, if I just write data.replace -1 np.nan, that time what we need to do, it's actually going to replace all the -1 with nan. because they can say this -1 are nothing but your missing values, right? So maybe your -1 in a number or is in a string. You can see that's why I have used twice, that data dot replace -1 and data dot replace -1 in quotation, right? If I just execute it and if I just write data dot head, in this, do I have any nan value? No. But in this case, if I do the same thing, the data dot is null dot sum, the same thing after replacing -1 with nan, you can see for the state we have 24 null values. For region we have 14 null values. So you do have null values or the missing value in your data set, but you have to understand that, right? Okay, now if you want to check the shape of the data, what are the type, how many columns you have, how many rows you have. In this case, you are going to use data dot shape function. You can see you have 2555 and 9. So 2555 rows you have and 9 columns you have, right? So now if you just try to understand that the proportion of vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. So in this case, guys, can you please let me know who are here are vegetarian, who are here are non-vegetarian, who loves to have vegetarian food, who loves to have non-vegetarian food. In the meantime, we will do this data analysis, right? Any new doubts, guys, till so far? Because we almost came to the end of the session and we will see the top 10 foods to, for taking less time to get prepared, top 10 foods to taking, high time to get prepared, right? Okay, right. So now what we are going to do, veg. So if missing values are there, what will be the step? Basically for region and for state, there is nothing to do with. But in the case of numerical value, if you have that time, what you need to do, you just need to replace them with median value. Yes, Jaga Panda, right, I give the answer. So if you have missing value, you have to replace with 0. The most perfect way, the most used way to replace them with median, because median is the because median is the most least affected by the outliers, right? Okay, so now what we need to do, we are just going to use this particular, so we have data, right? And then we have called the column name called diet, then dot value counts dot reset index. So basically we try to take only the data for diet, right? For the diet, and we are also taking the count of it, right? The total count of it. Okay, so now if I just write pie dot data columns diet and count, and if I try to use a pie chart, right? Okay, if I'm trying to use a pie chart for vegetarian and non-vegetarian, we are going to use px.pie function, right? And here you can see it's already there. For vegetarian it's green, for non-vegetarian it's red. So we can see the diet vegetarian count is 226 out of 255 and this is 29. So we can see the majority dishes we have in vegetarian, right? So yeah, so now we will see one more thing. We will look into that what the dishes are going to take the most highest time, right? So in this case, how to do that? So do that, we are going to do few things. Okay, so here we are going to make a variable called cooking time. So cooking time is equals to, we are going to take two different column from our data set. One is cook time, one is the name of the data, the name of the dish, right? If I just write cooking time dot head, you can say we have the dish name with the total time it takes to get cooked, right? So we have bundi, we have gajar ka halwa, ghevar, we have gulab jamun, right? Okay, so in this case, what we are going to do, we are trying to sort our data. So whatever the data we have, we try to sort our data in an ascending order. So basically the first top 10, right? We are going to take the first top 10 dishes. We are going to take a, less time, right? We are going to take the less time to get cooked. So in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to use we are going to take dot head and then 10. Okay, now we are going to use the bar plot to see that. So you can see this is something lassi, pani puri, right? This is the cooking time name. This is the cooking time, right? So this is how you get your data for top 10 which are actually taking less time. And if you want to see what are the data is going to take the high, like the most time, that time you can actually use dot short values, but the ascending equals to false you need to write. So basically your data will be in a descending order. So if you take the first 10 data, it will actually show you what are the data is actually going to take the highest time. So in this case, if you do the plotting over there, you can see Srikhand, biryani, it's they are actually taking high time to get prepared, right? So yeah, this is pretty much about the data set we have done so far. I hope you like this particular session, and please do let us know your understanding and your liking about the data and liking about the session. And please keep on watching us, and please I can say if you just subscribe Great Learning, you will get updated with the new sessions like this, right? And you will get to know lots of things as well, right? Please do let us know in the comment as well. We will love to hear from you. Thank you guys, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, bye bye. We will see you in the next session. Thank you.